Hi, Faith.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Take a seat. How was your week?
It was good. I got an 85 on my math
That's
test.
awesome. Nice job.
Thanks.
So what made you get that? What helped you get that grade?
Well, it was hard at the beginning because I was doubting myself quite a bit, but I kind of just refocused and I kind of collected my thoughts and kind of put them into a different light, so I made them more positive and forcing myself to be like, okay, I can do this. I can.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you were able to focus and do really well.
And
That's
And I
great.
studied, so it helped a lot.
Did you get help studying? I know you were nervous about that.
Yeah,
Who helped you out?
I went to go see Mr. Adams, my teacher.
Oh, perfect. And he was good about it?
Yeah.
Told you he would be. So last week we talked about going back to your thoughts a little bit and kind of changing them. I asked you to try to identify what some of those thoughts were. Did you do that?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. And you wrote them down. Look at that.
Okay, so this one was on Tuesday. So I said, I will never be able to pass the science test, so why study? And my response after that was, this test is stressful, but I can ask for help studying so I can pass.
Perfect. And when's that test? That's this week, right?
Yes.
And have you set up extra help to go do that? And perfect.
Yep, I talked to Miss McDonald about it, so I'm so happy that they're really supportive about it, and they're high school teachers, so they understand what we go through sometimes.
Good.
So this one was on Thursday. I don't want to go to school today. I will never be good at it anyways. And my thought after was, okay, so I'm feeling frustrated about school, but I have things in place to help me.
Awesome. What are some of those things? I know we talked about that last time.
Once again, it was like going to my teachers for help, and my friends are really, really supportive throughout all of this because I know I'm going through kind of a rough time, like failing that test. But talking to my mom as well, just having other people to talk to about
Have they been helping you reframe your thoughts a little bit? Because I know that was the biggest struggle.
Yeah, they helped change my mindset about it because, they know that I'm able to conquer these hard things in my head, but it's just hard for me to get past it.
Good job. All right, and you have one more, it looks like?
Yes, this one was the next day on Friday. I suck at math, and I'm always going to, so why am I even trying on this homework right now? And my response was, math is hard for me, but Mr. Adams has time set aside for me to come work with him.
Perfect. Awesome. So you did a really good job kind of going back. Now, did you go back and reflect on this after the fact? Did you wait a little while,
Yes.
or did you do it right away?
No, I waited a little bit. It took me a little bit to be like, okay.
And work past it in your head. Because I know we talked about sometimes identifying those negative thoughts and turning them into something different can be hard. And that's something that's one of the reasons why you're here, because you've been struggling with that a little bit. So, good. Well, I'm glad that you did that. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about was, I know we talked last week about how some of that deep breathing helps you, and we talked about different ways to deep breathe. Do you remember what I told you?
Yes. So we need to sit up straight.
Perfect.
Close our eyes and just go in and out and just kind of be in your own zone. And I can do this by putting in my headphones during school, right before the test.
Did that help you with this week with your?
Yes.
Good. And one of the things too that I wanted to kind of focus on with you this week and talk a little bit about is, have you noticed that have you tried the deep breathing? Have you noticed that sometimes when you try it, some of those thoughts try to come in and you kind of have a hard time?
Yeah.
So one of the hardest things about this is actually called mindfulness, is what this is called. And one of the hardest things about that, and I tell my clients this all the time, is that a lot of times when you're focusing and you're trying to deep breathe, that's when those thoughts come in of, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. Why am I even doing this? This is really stupid right now. And those thoughts kind of prevent you from being able to stay focused.
Yeah.
One of the most important things about mindfulness, and it takes work, it's really hard, is trying to just kind of acknowledge that you're having those thoughts, because that's important, to acknowledge that you're having them and then let them go. So if you try to fight them, they're going to keep coming back.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that you and I talked about that takes work, but we're going to try to work on that. So I found, actually, if you excuse me taking out my phone, I found a website that has a lot of these mindfulness techniques on them, and if you want, we can go through one right now. I found one that I think might really be helpful for you.
Yeah,
Would you like to try that?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. Okay. Let me open it. So we'll start. I'll do it with you so you don't feel awkward. I know a lot of people are like, this is really weird. So I'll walk through it with you and we'll do it. Okay. So it will tell you exactly what to do. So you're just going to listen to it and we'll see what happens. We'll talk about it after, okay? All right.
Mindful breathing. Close your eyes and rest your hands on your knees. Bring your attention to the touch of your body on your seat. Feel the weight of your body on your chair or cushion. Make sure that your back is straight and that you're comfortable. Take a few deep breaths. While you're breathing deeply, relax your shoulders, your stomach muscles, the muscles in your face, your hands, and your legs. Let go of all the tightness in your body. Now bring your attention back to your breath. Notice what it feels like as it enters through your nose, goes down through your throat, filling your lungs, and back out through your nose. Notice your stomach and chest rise and fall each time you breathe in and each time you breathe out. And just allow your breathing to be natural and relaxed. Now bring your attention to the feeling of your breath in your nose. Feel your breath as it comes in and goes out. Just focus on this sensation, paying attention to each time you breathe in and each time you breathe out. As you inhale, maybe your breath feels cool. And as you exhale, maybe it feels a little warmer. When your mind wanders, or if you become distracted, just notice what's going on in your head, and then gently bring your attention back to your breath, going in and out. Focus on the feeling of your breath, and allow thoughts and feelings to come and go in the background. Now gently bring your attention back to the touch of your body on your seat, and open your eyes.
How'd that feel for you?
I felt it. I was very into it.
Did you notice any thoughts come into your head at all?
It was very interesting because, all those negative thoughts, it was almost like when she was saying to leave them in the back of my mind, I almost had like a visual in my mind of like all the negative thoughts from my week. It was just kind of like distant. It was like back here, and I was like
instead
in the
of
moment.
In the forefront.
Yeah,
that's awesome. A lot of people, that's hard for them to do at first. So I'm glad to hear that's something that works for you. So you have it's your science test this week, right?
Yes.
Yes. So do you have time before class that this is something you might be able to use that will help you and
for sure,
be beneficial for you? And I know you said, who's your science teacher again?
Miss McDonald.
Miss McDonald. I know she's really good about kind of letting you do what you need to do. And awesome. Good.
Yeah.
So I guess tell me about the rest of your week. Did you notice any other I know we talked about those 3. Did you notice any other times this week where things were stressful or frustrating for you? Or
Well, most of the time it is school, but I've been having some trouble with my friends lately. There have been a couple really close friends of mine who, they've been very distant and they've been acting strange towards me lately, so it's been hard for me to cope with it because I don't know why they act this way towards me, and I just don't understand it. I try to talk to them, but it's almost like there's a wall put up where I'm like on the other side. There's like a disconnect. And that's been hard, with all the tests and stuff like that I've been having to think about. But yeah, but the ones that I've been more close with lately are the ones that have been helping me out a lot, you know.
That's pretty good.
Things were pretty good with my friends at the beginning of the week, but as the week dragged on, things were still getting pretty awkward between us in some situations where I was around them. They just would act different and like.
What were some of the things that were happening, the thoughts that you had based around that?
Well, I was blaming myself a lot. I was thinking, oh my God, I had to have made them angry in some way. Maybe I offended them, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. And that came back to the tests again. I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a stupid person. And in general, you know, I don't know how to deal with friends. I don't know how to do anything. It just was really,
so you've been having
hard.
A lot of those kind of initial first, I'm awful at everything kind of thoughts.
It's almost like automatic to blame myself.
And we've talked a lot about, it seems like in terms of your schoolwork, you've been better at reorganizing your thoughts. What about in terms of your friend situation? Do you think there's a way that you can reframe your thoughts a little bit there?
Probably, yeah. I think I just need to like analyze, you know, what's going on in the situation, like how they're acting towards me and stuff like that, to try and think of like how they're acting. Is it reflective of something I would have done, or can I tell if it's something that they're going through and they're just like not comfortable talking to me about it? So it's a lot of like thinking beyond, like using what's going on in the moment and thinking beyond it and like analyzing the situation and their actions to think, well, is it really me? Because it's always automatic for me to think, oh, I had to have done something.
We have an office cat, sorry.
It's all good. I love cats, so it's okay.
Sorry. So have you talked with any of your friends at all about what's been going on? Have they been kind of receptive to conversations, or?
A couple of them have. There's one friend that I've been really close with that at some moments she seems to act the way she used to, but at other times she's very distant and she always seems annoyed with me, or she acts like she doesn't want to talk to me ever. And it's very hard for me to talk to her at some times. But there are other friends that there are a lot of friends I can talk to, thankfully, who help me through it. It's hard because they're not going through the same thing I'm going through, but they're always there for me to kind of vent to if I'm having a rough time, and they try their best to understand and support me through it.
So I'm glad to hear that it sounds like even though you have those friendships that are kind of hard sometimes and things happen, and that's part of growing up and being a freshman in high school and moving on from middle school, it's all a lot of transition. But I'm glad to hear it sounds like you have that solid group of friends, and you're also trying to stay positive, which is great, because back when we started a couple of weeks ago, that's not what I saw. Yeah. I saw a lot of, this is all my fault. I can't do this. Like, why is this happening? But I'm glad to see that you're able to kind of separate things a little bit more easily now. Do you notice that it's coming more easily to you, or do you think sometimes it's still pretty hard?
Sometimes it's hard depending on the situation. Like, if it's just me and that friend, and this, like, it's really awkward when it's just the two of us. But if we're in a group, I think being around the other friends is making things a lot easier, and meditating when I need to is really, really helpful, because I just kind of need to refocus and just feel like I can't let this bring down my day.
And what I want to point out too is that you are doing a really good job identifying those positive things, and I think part of your process and kind of working through a lot of this is going to be to continue to notice those positives and continue to realize, I can do this, because the more you say, we talked about this, instead of saying I can't, I can is going to change the mindset. But it's hard because you were so used to being down on yourself and having those negative self-talks that trying to remind yourself to change those mindsets and those thoughts is really, really difficult. But you've done a really good job of being able to do that. And I want to make sure that you realize that, because I think that's going to be a big step and a big help in the process moving forward.
Thank you.
So how are we feeling about going into this week with the test?
Apprehensive, but I'm trying to stay as positive as I can. It's been a lot better through once again, meditating is a big thing. I just need to find, like, the positive mindset, and I feel so much better once I do.
Good. You said your mom has been helpful with that, too. What about Dad? How's he been?
He's good. He's there. He's always there when I need to talk to him, but he's not, like, the first person I go to.
Yeah, you've always seemed a little bit closer to your mom, and we've talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
So what day is your test this week?
It is on Thursday.
Perfect. And do you have, I know you said you had some things set up for you. What days are you going to get together with your science teacher?
I am going to be getting together with them on Tuesday because I have her Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I'm going to be getting together with her during the first 40 minutes. I'm at school before classes start, and the first 40 minutes the day of the test.
Perfect. So that will be helpful. And then do you have a kind of a study schedule set up this week?
Mm-hmm. I have 3 study halls that I've set up this week.
Perfect.
So I'm spending the majority of my time, I'm spending one of them with my science teacher and the other 2 with my math teacher.
Perfect. Okay, because those are the 2 classes I know we talked about. What about at home, when you're at home frustrated? I know that you, one of the thoughts you wrote down was about your math homework. How'd that turn out? Did you wind up doing your math homework, or did you wind up getting too frustrated that you had to kind of...
I ended up doing it.
You did end up doing it. Good.
It took me a while, but I was thinking in my head, you know, this may take a while, but I need to get this done. You know, even though I think I can't do it, I know I can. It was just kind of also like a motivation thing too, like, oh, if I'm just gonna fail it, why am I gonna do it anyways? So I just had to get back into the thought of I have to do this to not fail, and I can do it because I know how to do it.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I know too, when we first started meeting, homework that you got frustrated with and you kind of shut down on was taking you close to like 3 or 4 hours to do because you just couldn't get yourself into the mindset. Has that decreased at all, even a little bit?
It has.
Good. So that night that you had the math homework, how long did it take you?
That took me about close to 2 hours, so like an hour and a half-ish.
Okay, good. So you were able, so it's less than the 3 or 4, so that's good. So we're getting there. Perfect. What about when I know you said your mom has been a big help for you. What about when she's not around and it's kind of just you? How have you been dealing with that and those negative thoughts and not having that person to remind you?
Yeah. Well, I try to do, I end up doing most of it myself through just trying to get back in the positive bubble. But it's also good to talk to my other friends, be like, hey, are you having trouble on this problem as well? And ask them for help. And also email my teachers. I had to email Mr. Adams last week because there was a couple questions on the homework that I really couldn't understand. So he emailed me back and there was clarification. So I think asking other people if they're having the same problem that I am was helping.
And that's a difference too, because before you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't ask for help. You would sit there and just, I can't do it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear that you're able to ask for help, because I think that's a big step for you too. So that's really good. So this is all great news. I'm really glad that we're moving forward and making good progress. So for next week, I think what I'm going to ask you to do, we kind of this week focused more on the thoughts of it. I'm going to add a step to it. So I want you to identify those, but I want you to try really hard when you're realizing, oh, I'm having these negative thoughts, to try to put on, I can give you the name of that app that we used today, actually. I think that might be helpful for you. I'll make sure I give you the slip.
Yeah.
Try downloading that on the phone. Use your headphones. Try to kind of use that in the moment and see if that helps you. I want you to try for 3 times.
Okay.
And then if you have time, even if you do it later at night, reflect, write down if it was helpful, the things that were hard, the things that were easy, and then we can kind of reflect on that next week and kind of build upon those skills a little more, because I think you're making really good progress. So the more that we try to kind of build on this, I think you're going to start to see really good results. Okay. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah.
Awesome. So you're going to do great on your science test this week. I'm so glad to hear you got the 85. That's awesome. So hopefully we'll try and see if we can do that this week too. All right. So have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. All right. Bye.
Bye.